This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Yes, welcome to Racing Action Today. And this show is going to be a very special show as it depicts us leading up to Labor Day, trying to get a vintage Honda 350 ready to race. And believe me, that was not going to be an easy task. Leading up to Labor Day is going to prove to be an interesting task, as you will see some interesting events as they unfold, and believe me, you're certainly going to enjoy the show. Good. And we're here with Henry today, doing some motor reassemble. We just torqued down the bottom end. Now we're working on top. Hopefully get the cam in and all the valve adjusters.
And be good to go.
Be good to go, is right. You got another screw there? Or no, we
got to check and make sure that both of these
just inspect.
are torqued.
What are we at, 7 or 8 pounds now?
No, we're at 60 inch-pounds, which is 5 foot-pounds.
5, okay. I don't know which one it is.
Right here. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Where's this? We don't
That
want
takes care of that.
We don't want nothing in that cylinder.
Nothing goes in these spark plug holes now that we've got everything back together the way it should be. All right.
So the Phillips actually have a torque spec too?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep. But we've got it torqued down where it needs to be.
Okay.
We are good.
You're going to be okay to tighten that one?
Well, everything here, once we put the cap on here, we're gonna turn the motor over. We're gonna make sure that the cam alignment with this surface, when it's at top dead center, we're gonna make sure that that happens. And as long as that happens, everything is set properly. Once we torque this top down, these 4 screws on each side are available whether it's in the bike or not.
Yeah.
So the final tightening of these can happen 3 months from now while it's in the frame, you know what I mean? We're not restricted in any way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say?
Well, we'll get them snug in it later. Yeah, for now, it ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah. That's the only one of these 8. That was the one that I hammered on and hit my own hand. And I wasn't cursing, but I was as close to cursing as you're going to hear from me. You remember trying to get those out?
And yes, installing the motor would prove to be a very tedious job, but with the absolute help from Devin and his ability, we would get the motor back in place and ready to go. And believe me, it was not fun getting that thing in place, but I have to give him a lot of credit for the great work he does, and we did get it all together. Unfortunately, some other parts we needed to race, we would not be able to get in time, and we would have to end our journey trying to get the bike ready to race on Labor Day. But believe me, the bike will see there in the future. And yes, now we have the bike pretty well together. Of course, there's still a lot of things to do to try to get ready, and it's never going to be easy. we finally got this clutch to work, and believe me, that was not fun. The clutch cable adjustment on these bikes is very finicky, takes a long time, but we got it, it's working. That's the number one thing. The other thing we're going to talk about today, besides getting the motor in and ready, there's still a few things we got to do. As we're going to take a walk over here. This is an actual pan that'll go underneath the motor and you can see inside it has oil absorbent material which will actually hold up to 2 quarts of oil. We have a screening here holding it in place, and this will go under the motor from front to back to protect any oil coming out of the motor in the event you blow the engine or something like that. The oil does not go on the racetrack, and it is safety wired. I don't know if you could see it. It's safety wired on. Of course, that's something we do all the time. There's certain procedure we have to do with safety wire things on the bike. Now, beside that, we still have, of course, the gas tank. We did not put it on yet, but we will. As the tank has you have to go under the frame because it has two sides, and you have to balance it out. So when we put it on, we got to run a line now under the frame on top there, so the tank keeps the balance. And as you can see, it's ready to go. We're not far off there. We did run the bike, and of course we do not have the exhaust. That was one of the problems why we could not race on Labor Day, which we are planning to do. And the other thing is, things have to be safety wired. We have the Kickstarter on, and the oil dipstick is going to have to be safety wired too in order to race. And things like, you could tell right here, these alignment parts here to line up the rear wheel are safety wired. Everything has to be done to spec. And believe me, it's not a 5-minute affair, but the bike did run good, I'll tell you. It was loud, but I have to say, sounded very good. And I know Henry's going to be very happy. And Devin was a little disappointed. I know he certainly wanted to race, as everyone does. And, it's just a hard thing to understand. Sometimes you can't get everything done like you would like to do. We still have the exhaust to put on and do some fine tuning. But all in all, the bike is coming very good, and we're very happy. The other thing I wanted to tell you that we do have Carol filming for me now. She's become my producer assistant. Maybe we'll take a shot of her at some point here.
No.
She's shaking her head, so you know what that means, right? Well, let me tell you, it's been a fun experience, learning experience for all of us, and I can't say enough about the group we race with, USCRA. They're wonderful people, and of course we're getting ready now because we're not going to be at the event. We're going to go to Lime Rock and cover that, and believe me, that's just hang on, as you will see. This very interesting event today up at Lime Rock, with, celebrating the anniversary of the Corvette. And once that racing gets in your blood, trust me, it does not leave easy. And as you can see, we're coming along here very well, and we'll keep you abreast of how this is all going to turn out. Thank you. And yes, unloading this Corvette here, the L88. see. It's gonna be, we moved on now to the event up in Lime Rock Park, and they were getting ready to get the exhibit underway with all the very special Corvettes. And this car here was really kind of interesting, as it kind of got our attention. And believe me, the cars you're going to see at the remainder of this show are very special. And we want to thank Lime Rock Park and Chevrolet and everyone who was involved. Really turned this event into something special. And the Corvette followers were out in full strength, believe me. As you will see, you're going to see some very interesting cars, and with the history they have, it's just special. The week progressed, we turned our attention to Lime Rock Park and attending the Vintage 40 event there that featured Corvettes, and boy, let me tell you, we were not disappointed. And yes, Chevy's new C8 Corvette race car was just absolutely gorgeous, and believe me, it really goes.
And yes, we're standing next to the famous Paul Newman car he raced for years, and this car got a special meaning here up on Lime Rock Park, and I hope everybody knows what the meaning is. We certainly miss them. Round the car, round the car.
And yes, the number 83 GT1 Corvette, driven by Paul Newman, is a very familiar car up here in Lime Rock. He drove this car for years. He'd come here every week to sharpen his skills. After 80 years old, would just continue like it was a teenager in reality. Just a special man for what he's accomplished and all the great things he has done with the Hole in the Wall gang and the charities that he has done, contributed to. Just very special person.
We're here standing next to the famous number 3 Corvette race car, which has a great history. And boy, I'd love to park this car right in my garage. Let me tell you.
This C7 version of the Corvette, which actually raced before the C8, has a great history of things that it accomplished, including Le Mans. As you can see, it's just a gorgeous car, and the Corvettes that come from the factory that race are just painted this yellow color, and believe me, I would love to park this thing right in my garage. It is just gorgeous.
We're at the C8 version of the brand new Corvette race car, and believe me, it is a beautiful car. You can't get over how beautiful this car looks in that color. Believe me, they're going to be doing great at every race event they go to. Right there. Around the car. Around the car.
Yes, let me tell you, this C8 version of this new Corvette with the mid-engine is really special. And boy, I see great things happening with this car in the future. It is just a gorgeous car. I'd love to buy a brand new one myself. I hope I can hit the lottery or something.
Yes, that Corvette concept car, I believe, from the early 60s. And boy, let me tell you, it is pretty.
actually, I believe, dates back to the very late 50s, early 60s. And as you can see, it is just interesting to say the word. I mean, look at that dynamic airplane look behind the driver there. Wow. But the car was just like something they would dream up in the space age race in the early 60s. This gorgeous car. You have to give Chevy a lot of credit, and Arcus Duntop for all they have done.
We'll go to this very early race car. I believe it's like a 1959, 1960, and beautiful car. It's got fuel injection, which I believe is coming a little later. But the car is gorgeous, let me tell you. Beautiful car. Love to park it right in my garage.
Yes, look at the engine of this car. It is just beyond belief. The fuel injection and the valve just back where it's beautiful. This 1960 Cunningham Corvette that raced at Le Mans and did win its class and was the 8th overall. And believe me, this car was special. Back in the day, you gotta really look at how beautiful it is.
Yes, standing next to a very rare Z06. It's 1963 Corvette, fuel injected. I believe the car was raced.
This early edition of the Z06 was very special. It was a 36-gallon fuel tank. It was really the beginning of the Z06 history. Believe me, they were special cars, and road race was the primary purpose of these cars, and they are very rare today. If I'm not mistaken, they only made about 60 of these cars back then in the day.
Next to number 16, Penske Trans Am Camaro, with a great history. It ran at Sebring. And I'm not sure if it was a sister car to Mark Donahue or not, but boy, it is pretty. Let me tell you, these Trans Am cars got my attention. And without a doubt, this car is one of the most famous cars that existed in that time frame.
The Penske combination with Mark Donahue was special. Boy, let me tell you, they built some absolutely gorgeous cars. As you could see, this Trans Am car is just flawless. I'm not sure they looked like this in the day when they raced. But boy, let me tell you, this car has got my attention. It is just absolutely beautiful, and a beautiful car of the day.
Okay, now we have the famous Mako Shark Corvette concept car that really made history back in the day.
As you could see, the paint job on this Mako Shark was special. So faded into white, and in the day, this was just an outstanding car. It made a lot of history as it got the Corvettes ready for the future.
Looking at a very famous old Corvette race car that raced on the West Coast, number 614. As you can see, just a gorgeous car. I love to park it right in my garage.
Let me tell you, these early Corvette race cars are sought after today as they are a fan favorite when it comes to vintage racing. And the history that they did promote in the day exists today because of their efforts. Without a doubt, they were special cars and special people who got these Corvettes to run, and Arcus Duntov, job well done. And yes, another Penske car. There's this absolutely gorgeous Penske number 9 with a race history as rich as the Connecticut Tobacco Valley soil. Boy, I'm going to tell you, the cars at this event are really special. And this Grand Sport Corvette, just a great example of what was raced in the day. Beautiful car. Just can't get over the cars that came to this event. Just special. Of course, the big block would come into a picture at some point. This 427 was special. And yes, it would be ironic. We would stop and rest at a bench that was named in the memory of Lee Duran, a very good friend of ours, an excellent vintage racer. We miss him badly, as you could tell. And of course, sitting there, we had a chance to look at Paul Newman's racer that he raced at this racetrack every week. And boy, let me tell you, he knew how to bring the car around Lime Rock track. And we know all the great things he has done for the future of Hole in the Wall Gang and all the charities he supports. Yep, rest in peace. And as a surprise to everybody, the No Name Straight at Lime Rock Park would be named after Paul Newman. We certainly want to congratulate the Newman family, as he deserves all the credit he could get from the great things he has done. And yes, we want to thank Lime Rock Park for the great event they put on, and they are just excellent hosts. Good job. This program is brought to you in part by R2 Pictures and real estate broker Larry Mangello. And yes, we also want to thank Flavor Queen for all their help and support, and look to do a little more things with them in the future. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And yes, we want to thank the Race in Action Today crew, Bill Majak, excellent #1 cameraman, and our new camera assistant, Carol Mangello, for the great job she did with this show. And we want to thank and hope everyone has a great holiday, and tune in next week. The Racing Action Today.